see how her bag says the world and 11. And you see how her sneakers are orange. She's stalking me. She's one of the stalkers. Obviously her too, or else they wouldn't be sitting together. That phone she has in her hand, she was facing it towards people that was sitting across from me or whatever. Like I was sitting over there. See where that guy standing with the navy blue hat? I was sitting next to him. I mean, not next to him, but there was seats next to where he's standing. And across from me, there was people looking in her direction, like staring in her direction for a long ass time and shit. And when I looked, like they would put the phone down and shit like that, you feel me? That's what they do when I'm on the train. Like they be telling people shit about me. I don't know what they be saying, but they be putting it on the phone and holding up the phone. Yo, one time I was in CVS and fucking, where's that CVS at? Across the street from Kmart, but like Astor Place or whatever. And I went in there, Stalkers didn't know I went in there or whatever. So they be mad nervous and shit when I go into fucking places where they don't know I'm gonna go and shit. So I went to CVS and Astor Place. And while I was in there, I was just at the extra care bucks, like printing out coupons and shit. There's this extra bucks, extra care rewards, extra bucks shit. Printer machine, like it's a kiosk or whatever. So I was printing coupons out and shit like that. So tell me how stalkers came in. You know what they did? They gave the cashier, one of the cashiers, a phone, and it says whatever on the phone. Put it like this: when I look at it, they put it down with the quickness. So the cashier, he was tall, whatever. He was holding up the phone, my nigga. He was holding up the phone in the middle, in front of the store, to show the other customers, like whatever it says on it, to show the customers that they're shopping and shit. So there was a lady next to me. She was standing next to me by the machine, by that kiosk where I was printing coupons. So when she's sitting next to me and shit, she fucking, what you call it? Like, I mean, she wasn't sitting next to me. She was standing next to me, right? So she was staring at the cashier that was holding up that phone. So I looked at the quickness. Tell me how he put the phone down with the quickness. Like, he was mad scared or whatever. So he put the phone down. Like, he wasn't mad scared. Like, he was smirking and shit because he probably like, why are they telling me to hold up a phone? And then when I looked, they told him to put it down. So he put it down mad quick and shit. You know, because they told him to. And that's just shit that they be doing. Like, they'll hold up a phone and it says whatever. I don't know what it says, but I'm going to catch them in the act. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell somebody to get on the train and shit with me. And I'm going to tell that person, yo, you just reading a fan. You're just, you know, a regular person. So when they put up that phone, whatever it says on it, they'll tell me and shit. They'll be like, oh, shit, you know what it says on the phone? They probably tell people, I don't know what the fuck they tell people, but they're retarded and shit. Like, how you do that? And that, you know what they think? They think I'm not going to get up and record them and shit. Like, I better get up and record the bitch. Obviously, she's not going to be holding the phone while I'm recording her because, you know, that's obviously proving her guilt and shit. She ain't stupid. I mean, she a little stupid, but she ain't that stupid, you feel me? So, yeah, I'm over here on this train right now. Just waiting to get home. I just came from the movie theater and shit like that. So I'm on this train. And I was all up in my phone. When she was holding up that phone, telling people whatever she's telling people on the phone. No, there's somebody screaming behind me and shit. So when she was holding up that phone, telling whatever she was saying, like saying whatever it said on the phone to that girl, there was a girl across from me just staring at her and shit. And that's what they do. That's what I always catch. I always catch people that's around me staring in the same direction. Imagine you somewhere and everybody around you is staring in the same direction. You're gonna look too. You feel me? So that's what I did. I looked. And that's when the lady put the phone down with the quickness and shit. Like, I got up, I stood up, you feel me? I stood up real quick. Before that, I was just sitting down, but I was noticing people just staring at her and shit. Like, she had the phone up. That's what they do. Everywhere I go, they do that shit. Like, they'll tell people shit about me. Like, I go to the movies by my house, and everybody that work there, they be looking at me funny and shit. Because I'll tell, like, people that work there, like, if I go to the same place, excuse me, because I'm not trimming this video. But like, if I go to the same place often, they think that I don't got nobody there helping me in that place, right? So you know what they do? They'll tell the people who work there. They actually tell the people who work there shit about me. They'll be like, whatever the fuck they say. Obviously, I don't know what they tell them, but they all be looking at me funny and shit, like they looking at me dirty and shit, like on that one on the streets, they will not look at me like that. They wouldn't even glance at me in the streets and shit like that. But they feel like they could do that because there's people that stalking me, telling them shit about me, right? So I'll like, let's say I go to Walgreens or whatever. You know what else they do? Like I say I'll go to Walgreens or whatever. They'll tell the cashier to like touch her nose. They'll be like, oh, touch your nose, like to pick her nose and shit, like so I can feel disgusting. And then she touch my receipt and shit like that. Like they do that shit all the time. Like on Walgreens, on Forest, and Metro, there's this Indian lady that they be telling to ring me up, and like she be fucking with me like that. Like they'll tell her, oh, touch your nose and shit like that. Like the other day I went in there, for example, whatever, right? I went in there the other day to return something. So I go to the cashier, right? So she wasn't even there yet. You know what the Stalkers did? She was in the aisles packing shit in the aisles, like fixing shit in the aisles. So I peeped that because I was walking through the aisles looking for shit, right? So she was in the aisles like packing shit. So I go to the line and she comes online. You know what she does? I'm standing in front of one register. There's two people in front of me, right? So then she stands into the register. She stands in front of the register. I'm standing in front of her, whatever, waiting for my turn. And she's like, who's next on line? And she's like looking at me and shit, right? So obviously I'm third on line. I'm not next on line. So the person that's next on line, like she's standing in front of me, whatever. So I was like, oh, I think she's next. So I go to the other lady that was the cashier that was already ringing people up there. Tell me how I give her my shit to you know, like I said, I'm doing a return or whatever. So I give her my receipt and my items that I'm returning. So she, you know what they do? I'm in front of her. I'm like looking at her like this, like how I'm in front of the camera right now, and pretend she's the camera, like looking at me. So she's in front of the register though. So behind me, from behind me, my niggas, they standing behind me, and they hold up some shit saying whatever the fuck it says. All of a sudden, tell me how she pretends that she don't know how to do the return. Meanwhile, she was standing there for a hot minute and shit, and then I'm waving at some nigga because he just staring at me. But anyway, she was cashing people out and shit, right? Like there was some nigga right now. I interrupted the story by saying I'm waving at some nigga because some nigga was just staring at me or whatever. So I waved at that nigga like the fuck. So anyway, the cashier who was originally there from the Gap, she was pretending like she don't know how to do the return. Meanwhile, when I gave her the shit, she scanned my receipt like nothing. She took my items like nothing, right? So after the stalker was behind me and told her to move, basically, so the Indian lady could take me, so the Indian lady could like fuck with me and shit. So she moves, and I noticed that before she moved, she was just looking behind me. She was just looking behind me and shit. She wasn't looking at the computer, at the register and shit. She was looking behind me, and then that's when the Indian lady next to her says, okay, let's switch. Why you want to switch? That shit don't make no sense. She was just bringing people up. She should know what the fuck she's doing, right? It's because she was looking behind me, and the stalker behind me was telling her to move, to go to the other register, like to switch to the Indian lady so the Indian lady could fuck with me. The new cashier that I went to, the stalkers had never got to tell her nothing about me because she was never there when I was there, you feel me? So then what I did was I was standing there like she was doing the return with me, and the Indian lady, like she was trying to fuck with me and shit. She was like, being that you pay with points, being that you use your Walgreens points and shit, like your, you know, the fucking whatever points that shit is, the rewards program they got. She was like, unfortunately, since you used your points, and she started fucking me. Then she starts touching her nose and shit like they tell her to do. And I was like, whatever, I'm getting what I paid or whatever, shit like that. So she was like, yeah, it's going on a gift card or whatever the fuck. I was like, alright, whatever, as long as I'm getting my money back, I don't give a fuck, you feel me? You can give me that shit in pennies, but I'm getting my money back. So then, yeah, so like they actually were standing behind me and told the other cashier to move to the other register so that the Indian lady could take me and fuck with me and shit like that, and fuck with me and say, oh, unfortunately, and whatever the fuck she said. So right now, as I'm telling you this story, the two ladies that was holding up the phone and shit, that I started this video recording and shit, like they was just looking at me and shit. They pretended to have a conversation with each other. They pretended to have a conversation with each other, and one of them, the one that's looking towards me, she was looking at me and shit like. She stopped. She was pretending to have that conversation. She was just staring at me and shit like that because they probably felt mad stupid that I recorded them and I'm making this video and shit. Like, bitch, you can stalk me all you want. I don't give a fuck. I'm still getting this money. Number one. Number two, if you stalk me and tell people hold the phone up on the fucking train, I'm gonna record you. Plain and simple. Like, ain't shit you can do about that. if you don't want me to, then don't stalk me, right? Don't hold up phones on the train and tell people shit about me, because you obviously pussy. Why you can't say it to my face? Why you can't stand on the train? You know how them bums be going through the train talking about, can y'all help me out with some money, and be walking through the trains with fucking cups and shit? Why you can't walk through the train and tell people all at the same time something about me? Why you gotta hide it from me? Because you fucking pussy and what you doing is wrong, duh. Or else you would do it, right? So, um, yeah. Like if I was dumb and I was stalking somebody, which I would never do because I'm not that lame. Fuck that. Sometimes, nah, I was gonna say sometimes I'd be bored, but on the real, I haven't been bored in like what 20 years and shit since I was a little kid.